beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today is a new content for everyone because I am going to talk about college applications, how to apply to them, and my overall experience. To take note that this video is going to be divided into two parts. We have the first one, which is applying to the universities in the Philippines, and the second one would be my application experience in applying to universities abroad. I know you've clicked this video because of the title, and I am really here to help you guys, for those incoming freshmen to those incoming undergraduates, to help you with the application process. To take note, I am applying for the school year 2022 to 2023, so I do not know if I will be having the same experience as you do, because from my batch we didn't have any sets or college entrance tests. Maybe for the next school year it will be different, but nevertheless, this is just like the basic video that I could give to you guys upon the requirements, down to the fees, and down to my personal experiences with these universities. So without further ado, let's get started. So just a little background about myself. I am a Filipino international student who is studying here in Kuwait, and I took the Filipino education curriculum. So yes, today's video I will be featuring 4 schools, or the big 4 universities in the Philippines, such as UST, Ateneo, Salle, and UP. Start first with our first university, University of Santo Tomas. So, UST, let us talk first about the requirements, so it could be organized throughout the end of this video. So the requirements for UST is that you have to prepare your basic information. That includes your info about yourself, your address, your parents' name, your name, and etc. Everything that you know for sure. And the second requirement here is your transcript of records. So in USC, my experience, they actually require one type of record. It could be either the Form 137 or the Form 138. Now, what is the difference between the two? Because I know at first glance I was like, what is Form 138? What is Form 137? So here is the difference. Basically, Form 137 is a certified copy of your grades that is coming from your registrar. So you have to communicate with your registrar to have your Form 137. Now, what is Form 138 is that this is your report card. It is something that you have with you already. So in my case for USD, I submitted my Form 138 since my Form 137 was not available during that time. The next one here is that you have to prepare for your passport or birth certificate. Anything that can authenticate your Filipino citizenship. So for me, I submitted my passport copy. And next on the list would be the list of extracurriculars. So yes, when applying to universities, you must have like a paper with you wherein it indicates all of the extracurriculars that you took during high school. Then what's next? Yes, high school information. You must know the email address to your school, such as your working email address. Yes, bear in mind, throughout applying to these universities, you must be in contact with your registrar. And you know what, from my experience, I am really grateful because my registrar, Miss Nanette and Ma'am Erlene, they were really supportive throughout my application process, and I'm just grateful enough because they answered most of my queries. So yes, be sure to stay in touch with your school registrar. Okay, so enough about that. Let us talk about the courses that I took in UST. So I am actually interested with LeapMed. LeapMed, this is a 6-year accelerated program for medicine. From 8 years, it has been stretched down to 6 years. Then my first choice is nursing, and my second choice here would be medical technology. Now let us talk about the fees. All in all, I paid 3,000 pesos for UST. Why 3,000? I know it's like an insane amount of money for an application fee. I paid 3,000 because of my Leap Mid application, wherein yes, it costs around that amount. But if you are not a Leap Mid applicant, just expect that you will be paying for only 500 pesos. So those are the application fees for UST. You know what? For UST, this is the first university that I actually applied for. They started opening their application portal very early. I think it was around September, and then they just ended January 15. So around September, I started gathering my documents, which was really easy. They do not require a specific template to follow. They just need your files, your documents that you already have. And then after I gathered all of my documents, I submitted my application. I think it was around the 26th of September. And yes, it was really early. So with UST, if you have like any problems throughout the application procedure, and if you're trying to email them, they're not that responsive. I mean, like for me, I have this query about my passport document. I actually uploaded my expired passport, which I did not notice, and I followed it up to the OFAD email. Then I just got a response 2 weeks after. So yes, they're not that responsive. It will usually take 2 weeks, 1 week, or maybe even a month. And from what I have seen from the past few months, around like February, a lot of people or a lot of applicants during my batch had a problem with the application receipt. So I don't know about that, because since I submitted my application way early, so I received also the application receipt on time. But to those people who submitted theirs around like November, they had this problem wherein they could not get their application receipts, wherein it's being late already or past the deadline. So that was a problem with the application process of others in UST. The next university would be University of the Philippines, aka the hardest university to get into. More likely for Filipinos. Oh my gosh, because University of the Philippines is really known for their scholars, their isko and iska, and I've been meaning and I've been dreaming to become one. So let us talk about the requirements for UP. So number one, definitely your personal information. That is always a requirement. Second would be your TOR or your transcripts of records, preferably your Form 137. Next would be your high school information. Now, this includes the school's official email, the one that your registrar is currently using. Because my experience for UP, like their Office of Admissions really reaches out to the registrar of your school. So they have to get this contact with your school in regards of the official transcripts. Another requirement here is to submit the official copy of your transcript of records. Yes, for UP, it's more likely about your grades during this year. They did not give us any college entrance tests. Their only basis for today's application would be your socioeconomic status and your transcript of records or your grades. It's just these two things, because they did not require any essays, no interviews. It's just all about your grades for this school year. So yes, you will really have to submit an official copy of your Form 137, which for my case was the hardest part, since I'm not living in the Philippines, so I could not ship out my papers for like 2 days. days, like that instant. It would usually take me 1 week for it to arrive in the Philippines. So that was just only the hassle to the application process in UP. So my course in University of the Philippines, what is nice about here is that you can pick 2 campus choices, and from those 2 campus choices you are able to pick 4 courses. So that is like an advantage to most people who really want to study in UP, since you have like 2 campus choices, and that's so good. You have 2 choices of it. Okay, so let's go back to my chosen course. Let's start for the campus. So for my case, I actually chose the Diliman and Manila combo. Why am I talking this way? Why is it called as combo? Well, a lot of people actually warned me that taking the Diliman and Manila combo would loosen your chances into getting into UP. But for me, I do not follow that advice, since these are the 2 campus choices that I really want. So I did not bother those advice, and I just followed my heart about it. So my first campus choice would be UP Manila, with a course of Bachelor's of Science in Nursing and Bachelor's of Science in Dentistry. I'll just be sharing you my first 2. Then my second campus choice would be UP Diliman, with a course of Bachelor's of Science in Biology, Bachelor's of Arts in Communications. Now, to talk about the application fee for UP, I paid nothing. 0 payment, 0 application fee. If you are a Filipino citizen who plans to apply to UP, the application fee, it is all for free. However, if you are a foreign applicant, I feel like you'll have to pay a certain amount. I'm just not familiar with it. So my experience in applying to this university is, number 1, I would highlight from every university that I applied for, this is the school that is really responsive. Very, like, 100,000 claps for the Office of Admissions. Why is UP very responsive? Because they created this messenger room. It's sort of like a Zoom, but it is used for students who have certain queries about their application process. So that was really helpful and handy at the same time. And once you have like questions, you can DM them on Messenger and they will answer you in an instant. But of course, the Office of Admissions would have their certain timings. Then next, my experience here, FYI, I actually have a notebook here, so if you're wondering why do I keep on looking down, it's because of my notes. So yes, no extensions for University of the Philippines. They are really strict when they tell you that they will be starting their application on October and they will be ending it on November. Expect that they will really end on November. Wait, does this make sense? But yes, their application procedures, their deadlines are really strict. So if it says there the deadline is on November 31, do not expect any extensions. Because like UST and LaSalle, they did extend their application deadline, but for UP, no. The next university that we are going to talk about is Ateneo LaSalle, De La Salle University, aka the main campus. So I did not apply to different campuses such as the one in Lipa, Benilde, Antipolo. It's just the main campus, hun. So for the requirements, just starting to talk about the requirements in DLSU makes me really more stressful and nerve-wracking because, haha, betcha, to rank all of the universities in the Philippines, this is like the second hardest university to apply for my experience, okay, around this year. Why? Because their requirements are really hard to satisfy. for DLSU, they need you to complete all of the needed papers in a certain template. That includes your extracurriculars. You could not just send them a list of your extracurriculars. It must be signed by your previous advisor. It must indicate in this certain template. So, matrabaho talaga kapag ikaw ay mag-apply for LaSalle. But hopefully in the end, it will be all worth it. So, yes, I did mention one of the requirements, which is your list of extracurriculars with this template. Another thing here is your scholastic record that should be signed and be filled up by your school registrar. Then, after that, of course, your personal information, your high school information, everything that they need to know about you. You must submit your essay answering these questions and in this format, and you must submit them 2 recommendation letters. So specifically, a recommendation coming from your teacher, principal, or your counselor. So yes, they need 2 recommendation letters from you, an essay, scholastic record, and another document here is the ranking. So yes, just talking about it gave me a lot of flashbacks how I managed to complete all of the documents that DLSU is asking for. So yes, do not worry, you guys. All of the specific requirements list would be linked down below. So I will be putting there their official website for the more detailed requirements about their application process. Now, for my course in LaSalle, I chose Bachelor's of Science in Human Biology, Bachelor's of Arts in Communication and Advertising Management, which is a dual degree program. Then my last here is Bachelor's of Arts in Sociology. So yes, most of the courses that I'm actually picking is just 2 things. It could be either a communications degree or a health-related degree. So for the fee, in LaSalle, I paid for 600 pesos, which is like the standard application fee. But I did heard that if you are graduating in senior high school in any of the campuses in LaSalle, your application fee will be waived or for free. And I think that also comes with mostly to those students who are coming from public high schools and they're like part of the top 10 or the top 5. So yes, there are also options for you not to pay the application fee. But if you're not like one of those people, then definitely you'll have to pay for 600 pesos. My experience for LaSalle, I stated here, you must prepare. Like I mentioned to you guys a while ago, for the requirements, you must prepare everything for what they are asking for. From the scholastic record, your essays, recommendation letter, you must prepare ahead of time. So in applying for LaSalle, it is not easy to cram your application. Like, okay, I feel like this application process would just take me a day to accomplish. No, it will take you, for me, it took me like 3 weeks or like 1 month to accomplish it because of course during the time we also have school and I have a lot of priorities at that time. So yes, in applying for LaSalle, you must prepare ahead. Now, finally, up to the last university that I applied for in the Philippines would be no other than Ateneo de Manila University. Yes, ADMU. So let us start with the requirements. Basic requirements here would be your personal information, your transcript of records, your essay, and 2 recommendation letters. So yes, Ateneo and LaSalle kind of have the same requirement when it comes to the essays and recommendation letters. For Ateneo, it is a different essay prompt, wherein I feel like this essay prompt is used over the years. So yes, you can prepare for this essay ahead of time. So other than the essay, you will be needing 2 recommendation letters. It's either coming from your teachers, counselors, and even your principal. For my course in Ateneo, I have here Bachelor's of Science in Biology, and my second choice is Bachelor's of Arts in Communication. Yes, I told you, I'm just choosing between those two, communications or anything from a health science field. My fee for Ateneo, I actually paid 2,500. Don't get me wrong, okay? Maybe to those Filipino students who are wondering, why did she pay for 2,500 where in fact I only paid for 600 or 500 pesos? Now here is the deal. I'll be also sharing to you guys my story about it. In the application for ADMU, there are actually two portals. Number one is for Filipino students who are studying in the Philippines. And number two for international applicants. Between these two, at first, I really thought I was an international applicant since, yes, I am not studying in the Philippines. So yes, I considered myself as that. So I took that application portal, and then from there I started gathering all of my documents, from the essay to the recommendation letters and to other basic informations. What really took time here is the essay, because I'm not like an essay machine who could make a 1,000 or like 2 pages full of words about myself and answering the specific prompt. Of course, it will really take time for me to develop this college essay. So yes, that's what took my time the most. And from that, I asked my uncle, which is currently residing in the Philippines, I told him to pay 2,500 because 2,500 is the main fee for international applicants. I asked him if he could pay this application fee over the counter, because yes, that works to some universities. You can pay either through a credit card or over the counter. And after that process, after he paid for my application fee, it happens so that in the international portal, they do not accept over-the-counter payments. Well, I don't know. I tried reaching out to the Office of Admissions email, answering if they could accept this OTC payment, but I did not have any response from them. So yes, the only option for the international application would be paying through a credit card, which I did not know right after my uncle paid over the counter. So what I did was I canceled my international application. Then I went to the first portal, which is mainly for Filipino students. I feel like the one with Educacion PH, yes, it is handled there, Educacion PH. It was more easy to finish since they will let you know if ever your recommendation letters were sent to them already or not. So that is like a good thing about it, because for the international portal, they will not email you or remind you that this certain recommender did not accomplish his letter, whatever. They would not update you. But in the Educacion PH portal, it was much more easier and convenient. However, I did have a big problem when it comes to the high school records. So here is the thing. My registrar actually sent all of my records thrice already. Yes, thrice already to the Office of Admissions email. And up until this day, they still not updated my status for the application, where I still do not have my application number. So of course, I'm not just sitting around here and waiting for a miracle to happen. I have to make my own move. So last month, they actually called the admissions of office about it. And yes, they responded and answered one of my email. But then, I don't know why until now, my application portal is not updated. Like, I don't know. I mean, okay, I'll be giving you a screenshot here. So this screenshot my high school records and principal recommendation is not yet submitted, or it's not yet available. I do not know why. I have to admit, this is the most frustrating application that I have experienced. Let's just move on. Oh, look here, guys. On my notes, it says here, they wouldn't update send emails about your incomplete requirements, which is actually true. Because to some universities like LaSalle, they keep on emailing me about my incomplete requirements. That includes, Dear Miss Isabela or Dear Miss Driss, you have not completed these requirements, and we'll be giving you a deadline to accomplish it. For Ateneo, they did not send me those kind of emails. Well, I know the Office of Admissions are currently closed because of the pandemic, but why does the other school would have the time to send me an email about my incomplete requirements? Why don't they? So for the additional schools here, I tried applying for Ateneo de Manila and OLFU, or Our Lady of Fatima in Antipolo. But it happens to be that when you apply to these schools, ADDU and OLFU, you would be directed to enrollment already. Other than that, applying to LaSalle, Ateneo, UP, and UST would take a lot of time, and it's a different process. Most especially that these are the big 4 universities in the Philippines, and I'm just shooting my chances. That's it, you guys. Thank you for making to the end of this video. I hope that you did enjoy it. So do not forget to like and subscribe, and also you guys, I will be uploading a second part of this video, which is featuring all of the international schools that I applied for. That includes in Singapore, the US, and in Australia. Yes, these countries specifically. And wishing your application process a good luck. Bye!